Bam Johnson gets shipped off to the Carolina Panthers for a 6th round pick. And I gotta say that I don't think anyone's happy about that. Bam Johnson's got probably a great fan, you know, fan group out here in Bills Mafia, and it's understandable. He's a great special teams player. Tied the team for most special team tackles. He provides depth at a defensive end group. But when you look down that defensive end room, there's, you know, FA, it pretty much just came down to FA Obata or Bam Johnson. And unfortunately, Bam Johnson is not that good of a defensive end. He's a really good special teams player, but we also have a lot of special teams players on this team already. Tyler Matakevich, Taiwan Jones, Andre Smith, and others. So it just makes sense that we shipped him out, and it's kind of unfortunate, but, at least we were able to get something for him, and I think he's going to have a good time down there in Carolina.
Yeah, and days like today are when I don't envy the job of Brandon Beane. So, I mean, he put together this really talented roster. So, ultimately the cuts become that much harder, right? And I personally love Bam Johnson for what he brought to special teams. I think he was starting to develop a little bit more as like a consistent actual defensive player. But when you start playing the numbers game, off the rip, you have Jerry Hughes, you have 3 DNs that you took in the last 2 drafts in the top 2 rounds. So none of those players are going anywhere. I thought Addison was more likely to be the odd man out, or more my preference to be the odd man out. But then you're talking, the dead cap, which wasn't killer. But I do like that if you had to move on for a player, you got something in return for Johnson versus, there probably wasn't much of a trade market out there for Mario Addison. So you'd be cutting him, not getting anything back, and have to eat the dead cap. In this situation, I think it's ultimately the right move to get something back. It doesn't really make it hurt any less for me, though.